good morning. And look who's here. Look who's here. Megs is our special guest. Welcome home. Welcome back, Megs.
Yay, and the Grinch.
It's the Grinch.
It's Megs. Who?
Mags, woo!
So glad you're here, Mags.
Yay.
Woo! Biscuits!
Yeah.
Biscuits!
There we
Thanks,
go.
Ann.
Yeah. People are very happy to see you. And Megs, you were the first one in this morning. You beat our
Ann was not the first one in this morning.
Ann was not the
Ann-
first one in.
For once.
You were excellent. And let's see, Amanda must be here. There's Amanda. Amanda joined in. Oh, Amanda, you were a little bit late to the party this morning. Often Amanda is our first is our first one in often. And then there's Dee's is here. Dee. Let's see. Scrolling down. Tia is here. I think, yeah. And Fiordalisi, of course. I think we always said hi to her. Murray Maloney is here. Rick Cleland. Judy Stutz, I think it is here. Lisa Gervais, how are you doing, Lisa?
Hi.
And Sharon Haynes. Chris Ferriolo, Doris Lanier. Is also here relatively historically. So that's Brian Nash is joining us as well.
Hey, Brian.
Tommy Buck. And let's see, Holly GR. How you doing, Holly? She just says hi with an emoji. Waving at us. Very nice. Okay. And hello to everyone else. Did I miss anyone so far? Said hi. Anyways,
no.
So, I apologize for anyone I've missed. Hello to everyone who's watching us live and watching us after the fact on demand. Sounds like I have a cold. Well, I'm actually feeling much better than I have for about the last 2 weeks. But yeah, this is the last lingering bit is just that there's this honking nose that I have is quite. It holds a lot of stuff that I just won't go into details about, but it does lower the voice register a little bit. But other than that, I'm feeling fine.
It just gives you a deep, sexy, sultry voice there, Greg.
Oh, well, yeah. I'll be singing the bass parts tonight, not the tenor parts.
Yeah, how is that going?
Well, we had our final choir practice of the year on Thursday, because Thursday night's choir practice. So I told them, you don't have to come to choir practice for the next 2 Thursdays in a row. But the bad news is you do have to come each of those Thursdays because one is Christmas Day and one is New Year's Day, and we have masses on both of those days. So I'm giving them Thursday off, but not giving them Thursday off.
Yeah.
So, but because I usually do give them a 2-week holiday over the Christmas break, no choir practices, so they have their Thursday nights free. But now they don't.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Somebody in a chat is calling you Barry White.
Barry White.
Yeah. You'll never know.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so Anne has officially reminded me, not that I need a reminder, because being one of the lead L's, Vicky and I very much know that we do have our Secret Santa L's meeting starts at 12 noon. So we will try to wrap up this roundup by 11:30. We're going to try, because we need some of lead L's need a little bit of peanut butter in between one live cast and another. And I'm not saying which one, but anyways, enough of chit chat and whatnot. Denise, welcome back, our special guest.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I am so happy and so excited to say that we've got our special guest today is Megs. Who? And of course, she's here to talk to us today about DNA Week and tell us all the special things that are going on with DNA. And she's also the founder of the blog Grandma's Genes. If you've never checked that out, check it out. And she's been involved with Family Tree DNA, getting us connected with that. So I'm sure she's going to fill us in and all that. She was here about a month or two ago and told us about the Family Tree DNA. But we're just so excited to have you, Megs.
I was so excited and hyped up and beyond the last time I was here. I so apologize for that.
No.
No.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background with the DNA project, and the integration with Family Tree DNA is huge, and has really since June when we first announced it. They just released some new stuff, but I didn't know what to prepare for this morning, so I figured you guys were going to be asking me questions. So
I can ask you questions.
Denise is like, what? You don't have a full presentation ready? What's wrong with you, woman?
Maybe not a full presentation, but at least give us some tidbits of how things are going with how did they go with DNA Week?
We've had a lot of fun, lots of fun going on. I jumped into the Q&A session research party with the projects on Thursday night, where I was my usual self and got in trouble and, played. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. There's something happening this afternoon that I'm really excited about. One of the things that we have been doing with Family Tree DNA is we have been working with them for about 3 years, I want to say, about getting people to, well, no, since 2017, really, when the GDPR came along. There used to be a site for DNA group project administrators over at FTDNA to put extra stuff, because FTDNA just basically covers the data, just the facts, ma'am. And you want to have companion information for the stuff you have on your DNA group project. So WikiTree stepped in to fill the void that the other site that went away because of GDPR. WikiTree stepped in, and we've got 80 DNA group projects that have come over to WikiTree.
Wow.
And there are people who, and Martin is going to talk about their DNA group project integration with WikiTree. It's absolutely amazing, the magic that Martin has done. And I was going to say, if somebody could grab that link from G2G, he's doing a talk at 2:00 p.m. this afternoon, or I think there's a second link to his talk in that post right there. So if you scroll down, you'll find the link. So he did his own G2G post, but he's going to be talking about that. And why is it important to bring Family Tree DNA group projects over to WikiTree? Well, it gives a project leader the place to talk about lineages. And instead of writing up all of this stuff about different lineages, you could just link to the earliest known ancestor for the lineage, and people can see all of that information. If a WikiTreeer has their DNA test information in WikiTree, then you can add your WikiTree ID to FTDNA, and that information will automatically populate. And as of Thursday or Tuesday is usually when FTDNA comes out with their stuff, you can actually see on the DNA group project's time tree for the project, you can actually see lineages. Now, I'm going to, in my other screen here, I'm going to see if I can pull up the Templeton DNA time tree and see if that new, DNA group project at FTDNA. Oh, there we go. I'm going to see if they've got the time team. The time team. I'm a big time team fan. I apologize. And let's see. I want to go to DNA results. I need to share my screen, I guess. Can I do that? Oh, share screen. Okay. Sorry, new computer, so it's giving me tips.
Oh
all
yeah,
right.
don't you love
Wow.
that?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, no, it's not giving me what I want.
Oh.
You guys don't want to see that. Huh.
So what's the Time Team? What is that?
Time Team is an old archaeology show that used to be on Channel 4 in England.
Oh,
And they do a lot of digging. And I've been trying to get FTDNA to connect some of the skeletons that they have found on Time Team with their DNA, which they can't do.
Physical
Yeah.
skeletons?
Yeah. Oh, FTDNA does all sorts of dead people.
Mhm.
If you ever met Urin Runfelt with FTDNA, he has skeletons
Right.
in his house that are like 30 feet tall
oh,
because
wow.
he does population genetics. Nothing. It's not allowing me to share.
Do we need to give you like some sort of permission?
No,
No.
I don't know what. Okay, we're gonna go. Let's see. Here we go. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I see it in the
Okay.
studio backstage.
Woo, let's see if that DNA results are up. So this is the Templeton DNA Group project. Let me grab a sip of water.
Mm-hmm. Stay
That's not
hydrated.
water. Let's see. We'll go over here. All right. So you see, there's information. There's great information in here about the Templeton families in the Americas mainly. There are some Templeton families here that are actually living people in Scotland. So you've got all this information, you've got all this data, and what WikiTree allows you to do is go to, say, this County Antrim, Island McGee County Antrim, which is my specific family line, and you see this McKnight person. Who is that? McKnight. You're related to me in a big way. Who is that? I don't even know who that is.
Oh.
See, I come on the Saturday LiveCast
You
and
really don't know? Or you're not
things happen. I really don't know. I've never
Oh.
seen. They just appeared.
Oh,
And if
very
if
cool.
that's Kay Knight's husband, we need to chat.
Yeah.
She was talking about the fact that she was a McKnight. Her husband was a McKnight
Oh.
in the chat on Saturday. Yeah, I only knew of two, and that this third one is great. So even though you can see all the data here on FTDNA, when you bring your project over to WikiTree, you can connect to those living testers that are on WikiTree, and you can connect to all of the descendants lists, all the ancestors lists. You can have your tree appear on Family Tree DNA so that it connects to your WikiTree tree. How about that? So it's really cool. Let me see if it does this new tool, though. Let's see. All right, group time tree, which is a fun thing. And let me. Okay, no, I don't need to. So down here, I'm going to bring up RM22 County Antrim, and look at that, McKnight.
McKnight showed up.
McKnight. So for this one right here, it should show the lineage out. So that's the new thing that's coming. I thought they released it on Tuesday, where you could see the actual lineage of Robert Templeton, or the actual lineage of James Templeton. Both of these people are on, these earliest known ancestors are on WikiTree.
When you hover over the icon, there's something that was flashing on the screen. What's that? Oh, that's just.
So there's the kit number that for this earliest known ancestor. And it's actually my cousin Wayne, who just passed away. So incredibly excited that he let me have his DNA and use his name publicly for all the years that I've been doing it while he was with us. And now that he's passed, I have to give him a shout out every time I see that. So that, and you can also see this. And then you can go up here. Remember I said about Martin McDowell of the and Annie Johnston. I got to give a shout out to Annie Johnston. Here is the tester they found in Ireland that connects my line to where they lived in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah. So this guy is actually from Island McGee. And not only do I know the location generally about where they lived, I've actually found the property.
You visited the place. Nice.
I haven't visited yet physically,
Oh.
but I will. My spousal unit and all of the siblings are getting Irish citizenship as we speak.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
way. Yeah, way. So I don't know if we're going to be moving to Ireland. I would love to do that.
Wow.
Talk about a stressor, you know? So you're going to be able to see the lineage of these. And let me go back to, and if I wanted to add other people here, I could do that to show all the people that have tested. So that's really cool.
Very neat.
Let's go to the discovery tool. So if I go home, I'm not signed in yet. I'm going to sign in.
Oh,
And I'm
maybe
going to sign. What's that?
maybe it'll show you the lineage if you're signed in.
Well, I don't know about that. Oh,
Look at that.
there's my dad. Hey, Dad.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, there's a new video or something.
Yeah,
It always happens when you're
I
on
know.
something. So here's my dad's discovery information, and if I go down here to his match time tree, and so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to make share mode. There we go.
Oh, to protect personal. That's nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, maybe I should do time tree instead. Yeah, no, it's not. This is dad's though. This is just my dad.
But he'd have all the. I mean, it's his Y-DNA that you have tested.
No, it was Wayne's. Let me switch to Wayne. Oh, and I got to show you the other thing. Uh-oh. Wait, there we go.
So if you have no brothers, Mags, what kind of results do you think we'd get in something like this?
Well, so I do have a brother, but he hasn't tested. But the important thing is that my dad did test. So you always try and test for the person the furthest back that you can test. So if my dad had a brother and my dad wasn't alive, I would try and get his brother to test before I got my brother to test. So that's how that works. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, so I don't see anything coming up. The match time tree isn't working for my dad. Oh no, it signed me out.
That was quick.
It doesn't trust. It doesn't trust you.
No.
Yeah. So if you don't have a father, then or a brother, then an uncle or a male cousin from an uncle,
or a male cousin from an uncle,
or a great uncle, if that's possible, or
yeah.
You want to maintain that all male line somehow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not lucky in that regard. My dad's gone. All of his siblings are gone, and there's no male cousins on his side of the family living. So, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be creative. And because Y-DNA goes back for such a distance, you can test people who you not normally would test. You can test an 8th cousin's father if he is a male line descendant of your ancestral line. So when we did Wayne's test, he was great to test because he was a male line tester for all of my Templetons, whereas my dad is not. My dad is the son of a female Templeton, and she would not carry the Y-DNA.
Yeah, right.
And there we go. It's live TV, right?
Yep.
Fetching matches.
That's why we're fetching. Fetching. I'll show you how to put your WikiTree ID in.
Oh, yes.
So go to your WikiTree profile. Let's go to my dad's profile. And go over here and just click on copy your WikiTree ID. So that's on a profile page over to the right side where all these things are. You want to click to copy that. And then you would go, we're signed in as Wayne right now, but that's okay. You go over to Wayne to account settings. And then over, there's several tabs at the top of the page. Go to Genealogy. And down here with Family Tree, scroll down to manage your,
There it is.
there you go, WikiTree connection. And then you just click into this and control paste and or whatever the Apple thing is, and you can add your WikiTree ID. And what that does, let's see, can I do this without getting into matches? I don't know if I can do that without.
Oh, big Y, the big Y thing won't show matches, will it? It shows
Yeah,
the block
well,
tree, doesn't it?
No, it'll show matches. So you go down here to matches. Oh, I'm okay because, yeah, data tables warning. What? It's a new computer.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, view match time tree. Here we go again. It's still fetching.
Still fetching.
And what are SNPs again? The SNP? What is that?
It's a single nucleotide polymorphism. It's a mutation.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop the share because
Okay.
it's and I'm not gonna leave the studio. How do I do that? There we go. Thank you. Woo!
You're welcome. No problem. No
You
problem.
did good. Thank you.
Not really good.
No,
If I'd
that's
have- I could have done better if I'd have prepared a little bit more.
Well, you know,
Well,
it's DNA week, so we're really just all DNA, whatever it is.
All DNA,
We'll
yeah.
get it covered. Yeah.
That's great.
Anyway, so if you connect yourself to Family Tree DNA from WikiTree, you get a lot more stuff. You get your ancestors, your descendants. You can have your stuff show up in a pedigree form on the time tree. There's lots of stuff that you can do. And what I was saying about DNA group projects, the advantage of having a DNA group project come over to WikiTree is that you can have all of WikiTree's DNA features at your fingertips. And there are a lot of DNA features. Greg,
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot you a link here.
Okay. And I'll share.
Let's see.
Yeah. Go to the private chat.
As soon as it stops, I'm going to send it to you in Discord.
Oh, Discord? Okay.
Yeah.
Get it there.
Family Tree. The problem with all of our sites is Saturday morning, everybody's off work and they're at home doing their
That's right. So it's always a busy time.
yeah.
Okay, hit enter on that.
I'm gonna in just a second. I gotta get to it.
Sure. In related, while Mags is doing that, part of the DNA project, of course, is a number of apps, and one of them, of course, is the DNA app confirmation tool, which I've created and lots of people have been using, and I've updated. Now, this week was a busy week for me because, along with looking after sick grandkids and trying to avoid getting the plague the third time in a row, I also had to do a bunch of work on all of my apps because the login procedures with the API in the background, nothing that you would see up front, well, had changed, and there was an extra parameter I had to add, blah, blah, blah. It when they got real strict on it, they stopped working, and then they removed that restriction temporarily. I thought I'd fixed it. When they turned it back on for good this week, I found out there was a few holes in my bucket that had to be patched. And suddenly none of my apps were working again, including the one new I've been working with Megs on, as well as the DNA confirmation tool and some of the other ones, photo
Greg,
lines.
how do you feel about showing that off? I've got the two links in the Discord for you. One is for the blog about all of DNA's WikiTree features, or all of WikiTree's DNA features. And then another blog about connecting your DNA to your Family Tree DNA profile.
Okay.
So may I ask a question, very specific for Max, but it's about DNA. How long can you keep a saliva sample before you send it? Because I have many problems. They are not shipping to the United States.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, 25 years for FTDNA.
Oh, okay,
But-
I have time.
Yeah, for the other companies, they don't keep your sample. Just FTDNA does, which is great.
No,
No,
yours-
I mean I have it at home.
she spit in
Oh,
it too.
In the
You're
end,
good. You're good.
25 years. Okay.
You're good in your solution stuff. You need to get it in and get it tested, but you're fine for a while.
Okay.
You could try sending it to another country and have them ship it in for you. I've heard of other people doing that since the tariffs have started. Mail and everything is just shut down going into the U.S. A lot of stuff from overseas, so you could do that.
What if Vicky brought it to Roots Tech in
Yes.
March?
Yes,
that's all
that
you
would
have
be
to do. That's all you have to do
Yeah.
is
Great
walk
idea.
in with that. And if
Yes, I'll take it myself.
And if customs stops you, it's just a DNA sample. It's just spit. They'll,
Okay.
it's not a biohazard.
Should be okay.
Yeah, that's a solution. Yeah,
Yeah,
bring it with you to Roots Tech.
there you
I
go.
hadn't even,
And it in
even
right at
thought
the
of
booth.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm sure they can't process it right on the spot. No, they need a fancy lab in Texas for that.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't do it right on the spot.
Not yet.
But
I'm
do you
sure they're
have
getting there.
Do you have indigenous history in your family history?
No,
No,
no, I
okay.
don't. Mm-mm.
Just was curious because if you do, I was going to set you up with a date with Dr. Paul Meyer, who is one of the people very interested in Aboriginal indigenous peoples. Okay,
Oh.
so so Greg has the blog up,
Mhm.
and we need to put that link into the chat.
I put the link there in the chat. It just says WikiTreeers. It doesn't say my name, but it says the link there. There's this one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's and then there's the other one that is how to connect your DNA to FTDNA to WikiTree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so both of those are excellent.
Now I really would like to show off this thing with Greg if Greg's got that and is up his sleeve.
We can do a very quick show of that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the time. You're never going to make 11:30.
Well, let's see. One thing I do have to mention though about the DNA confirmation tool, it is now working, and it was working for everyone except me once I fixed it, and then I realized what had happened, and someone else just sent me a message in Discord asking, do you realize this is a problem? So with the one of the greatest new features they've added is the ability to add two sets of parents if you're an adoptee. So you can have your adoptive parents down as your primary parents, and then you can add your biological father and or biological mother in which case. So I did that to my primary profile, and so I had them all there. And then I went into the tree apps, checked out my fan chart, and sure enough, it has the Clark and the McIsaac line, which is my adoptive line. But the tree apps don't yet have a way to gather both of those IDs and differentiate from one to the other. So it uses your primary parents, which is for an adoptee is your adoptive parents. Likewise, the DNA confirmation tool grabs your primary parents. So when I went to use the DNA confirmation tool after I got the login stuff all fixed this week, it wouldn't give me any matches. It said you're not related, or the relationship is too far back, because I actually am related to all of my cousins both ways, adoptive and biological, but you have to go through about 8 great-great-grandparents to get back, which is too far to make a DNA confirmation statement. And it took me the longest time to figure out what was happening. So what I had to do was I had to ditch my adoptive parents for my primary profile, so that the profile I use for DNA confirmation currently only has my biological parents on it. So temporarily, if you want to use the DNA confirmation tool, you have to stick with just your biological parents on your profile. That will be fixed shortly, because I'm sure the API will have the ability to be able to distinguish that. And once that happens, then I will update the DNA confirmation tool, the fan chart, and other WikiTree apps. Needed to let people know that if you're running across the same thing I ran across, and even as the programmer, I was banging my head against the wall, thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" It took me a while to figure it out. But I'm going to give you a lightning tour of this new app that Mags has designed and I have programmed, and together we have made it better than either one of us might have thought.
Yeah, Greg, and I take back all the bad stuff I said about you on the Thursday chat.
So Douglas is my biological.
Somebody
one.
take down the link, please.
Oh, you want the link?
One of you administrators of there's a link. There we go. Thank you.
What's? Oh,
please and thank you.
Oh, I see the other thing. Yeah. Okay. So when you log into it, and basically you set up a project or a matrix. I'm going to show you the Douglas matrix. So it's going to load it up here, load it up, and basically this app in 5 minutes or less, it allows you to connect DNA testers, people who have done DNA tests and you match with, along with a shared ancestor or a set of shared ancestors, and then see how they all connect to each other. And so I have added 5 testers, myself, some other Douglas cousins, and one person I stole from Mags who isn't really related to me, but I needed to do a test, so I faked it. And then I've got some other Douglas ancestors there, and you can see how they're all connected in a nice diagram here. And so there we are. So William Douglas.
That's great.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
And there's more.
And there's more. So first, a couple things. I'm starting with this chart because it's a little easier to see. William Douglas is my direct ancestor. Okay. My great grandfather, who Patty, and I don't know if Patty actually is online right now, but he will be watching this after the fact.
Yes, he will.
He did specific research, went to actual dusty archives to find records to verify details about his life and the actual birth dates of his children, which I couldn't find anywhere else. And, every census had a different birth date for every one of my great grandfathers and his uncles and his siblings, So anyways, thank you so much, Patty, for confirming that. Patty also found a potential sister or cousin, maybe niece of his, Elizabeth Douglas, who I also, because I shared my DNA with Patty when he wanted to investigate this, also found that I have some relatives, DNA relatives that descend from this Elizabeth Douglas. So there's a good chance that these two are related to each other. And then there's a third Douglas who also settled in Eastern Ontario. And I don't know how he's connected, but I suspect he's a cousin or a nephew or something as well of my William Douglas. And I have DNA connections to his descendants.
I volunteer to go and tromp through the snow and knock on doors.
Oh, that's good. Yes, because that's your neck of the woods where they are.
It is.
And with this app, so these 3 people are all on WikiTree. And if you click on any one of them, you can get details of who they are. And in fact, one of the features of this app is that it can find all of the information that people have entered on WikiTree and sort of consolidate it. So here's my direct ancestor, and I can click on this, and it can go through and it can tell you everyone who had all of his descendants who have done DNA tests and are potential other DNA testers that you may or may not know about. Now, in this case, I'm the only direct descendant who has done from his line, but let's see if Elizabeth has this Tracy, who I've added, and I don't know if James has any. Don't think James has done any. But you get to someone. If you click on any of Mags's ancestors, you get a whole raft of people that she has sweet talked into doing DNA tests. So you have lots of people showing up that you can then further explore and whatnot. But the real power of this, that it gets better, because, as Meg says, because the final match is takes basically this network that you've done. So this Grandpa Douglas, he is not on WikiTree, but he is an ancestor that I added manually and then connected to these gateway descendants in what one theory of how they might be related, so that you can see them all in one sort of tree. And I can change these relationships around if the DNA tells me that, you know, the results are fine. But here at the bottom, you can see, then you can add the DNA tests, how each person is connected one to the other. And I've just added in one test for myself and cousin Darlene, but I will eventually add these other tests in and whatnot.
And what he's saying by, he's also showing that the centimorgan amount shared between those testers is listed there. But he's going to show you even bigger thing. Go ahead.
Okay, and what's the other bigger thing that I'm going to show?
Do the actual matrix, the table matrix.
Oh, the table matrix.
Yeah.
That?
Yes.
Okay. Now
go to mine. Go to
yeah. I was going to
Golden.
say I should go to yours. Which one?
Golden, Templeton. Yeah.
Can you make it a little bigger when you get there, Greg?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want it bigger, Betsy. I've got lots of DNA connections in my tree.
Okay.
What's it say up there?
It says loading. Thank you for your patience.
This matrix is huge.
Yeah, so this is going to take a while, maybe.
So one of the things I'm going to explain why this is loading is if you have a match on any of the DNA testing companies and you know the living tester, but they're not on WikiTree and they don't want to be on WikiTree, or they've chosen not to do WikiTree, or they're just not responding. Instead of trying to recreate that tester's specific line, you can find their earliest known ancestor and add them as a gateway WikiTree ancestor. And so when you add that WikiTree gateway ancestor, you can build the line back down towards the tester while still preserving their privacy. You can go down to like their grandfather or their great-grandfather and still have their line and still have that tester connected by some private name or private or just initials, and still have them connected back.
Wow.
It's it's a way to that's one of the things that people say, I can't add this tester to WikiTree. No, you can't, but you can create a gateway ancestor using their earliest known ancestor. So here's what the matrix looks like for all of my Galding people. And it's like a matrix that you would see at FTDNA. It's like a matrix that you would see at GEDmatch. But because you have this matrix, it's in a CSV format that you can grab, put into Excel, and then you can import it or export it to people. Now, this import-export ability, if GEDmatch, if 23andMe, if Ancestry, if FTDNA has a matrix like this for your family, you can take that matrix as a CSV file and upload it into this program. Not yet, but coming soon. You don't have to enter manually in all of that information. You'll be able to import it through a CSV file.
Wow. And that looks a lot like the cluster in Ancestry.
Yes. Yes, except these are known genealogical paper trails. These are known DNA connections. So go back to my tree view there, Greg, real quick.
Okay. It's not. Let me just.
Your Douglases are in there.
Yeah.
I remember when I was saying, can I get rid of your demo on the top of my stuff?
There we go.
There we go. All right, show all of the connections, the DNA connections.
It's giving me an error when I do that.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know
Too
why.
bad.
So I'm going to have to, let's see.
So do we have a screenshot of, let me go.
That.
I do. Let me, but I have to grab it through.
No, that's.
New computer.
Yeah, there was something there that was.
I agree, Greg. You and I should do a presentation on this together.
Yeah, we will.
We can move on.
Yeah, currently it's in we're testing it, and well, we called it beta testing, but it's really alpha testing, just sort of getting some of the kinks out. And obviously there's a few kinks left in, but we will be opening it up in the new year to a wider beta test. So if you're interested in that, please contact Mags, and she's keeping a running list. So we will add you to that beta test. So
just to confirm, I'm pretty sure I got this straight. This is not public yet, right? Because someone said
no.
Yeah,
it's not available. It's not listed in the Tree apps or in the WikiTree apps section yet.
Okay. All right. So Michael, you are wanting the URL, and it's not public yet. So.
Michael, send me a PM, and I will add you to our list of testers for the new version, the new beta testing version. I had people asking me about that over the weekend based on them seeing it at Eggs.
Yeah.
So we can move on. I'll post a picture of it somewhere.
Okay.
Well, Mags, thank you so much for sharing some exciting stuff that's happening behind the branches regarding DNA. And with that, we're going to turn it over to Greg.
Oh,
thank goodness.
Oh, really? For the profiles of the week? Okay.
11:30. Remember that, Greg.
Oh, right. 11:30. Okay. Where are my profiles of the week? There we go. Let's share that screen. A second. There we go. So yes, the profiles of the week are DNA themed connections. Excuse me. I hope my voice. Well, maybe my voice will go out and we'll have to stop. But yeah, all of these people have some connection to DNA, or DNA played an interesting role in their life or the discovery of who they were and whatnot. So we will go. The first one is probably one of the earliest and maybe most controversial DNA subjects, which I, as a Canadian, wasn't aware of until I joined WikiTree and started working with DNA. And then all of a sudden, I learned all about Thomas Jefferson and Sally Jennings.
Hemings.
Hemings.
Mm-hmm.
Hemings.
Sally Hemings. Yes.
Hemings. Which was to me. That wasn't in the slimmed down American history that we learned in Canada. So yes,
it wasn't in the slim down history we learned in the United States either.
Oh, it wasn't.
Nope.
Well, that's news to me, but I guess I can see this is not top. They would, I'm sure you'd probably focus on the fact that he was the third president of the United States, second VP, and was obviously very instrumental in the forming of your country, primary author of the Declaration of Independence, one of your founding fathers, all that sort of good stuff. And we have profiled Thomas Jefferson before, so I don't need to remind regular viewers about Thomas Jefferson and his early years. I do remember one of the things that I always like to point out was his quote, "I cannot live without books."
That's
And
my mantra.
Yeah, books and libraries were more important to him than actual politics and whatnot.
Just like my dad.
Yeah. So, that he also had this quote here about he was a man who wore many hats, including a horticulturist, statesman, architect, archaeologist, paleontologist, author, inventor, founder of the University of Virginia. How did he have time to be president of the United States? One wonders, after all of that. A man of enlightenment and knew many intellectual leaders. And that kind of links back to the quote that I think Kennedy was famous for saying. Yeah, John F. Kennedy at a dinner honoring Nobel Prize, he said, "I want to tell you how to welcome you are to the White House. I think this is the most extraordinary collection of talent, of human knowledge that has ever been gathered together at the White House, with the possible exception of when Thomas Jefferson dined alone," because of all his other talents. Anyways, so I thought that was interesting. But anyways, we talked a lot about him and his history, but the DNA, the thing that connects him to the theme this week, of course, is his relationship with Sally Hemings. he had an intimate relationship with, a woman that he enslaved. But interestingly, what I had missed the first time around was the connection that she was actually a half sister to his first wife, Martha.
Mm-hmm.
So, sort of in the family, like, you know, I don't know, like, how
Yeah.
close were the sisters? Like, were they?
There weren't a lot of people around in the U.S. then.
Yeah. Yeah. So, were they?
There was a lot of endogamy going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's interesting. But
Yeah.
anyways, because of DNA, we know that with the evidence from the time, plus the additional Y DNA testing, it's believed that he's fathered 6 of her children. And what's important now, there's certainly this has obviously caused a fair bit of friction and debate over time.
Sally Hemings' family knew, though. This was DNA that proved a family story that was supposedly lore, but it's been proven. It's been proven that it was.
Yeah. So there's this important statement here that the Thomas Jefferson Foundation believes the evidence is strongest in favor of this being true. And with this in mind, relationships on WikiTree will reflect this conclusion until or unless brand new evidence comes that strongly sways the conclusion in a different direction. So, I mean, that's really basically the foundation of all of our sources on WikiTree, right? Until we find a source that contradicts it that is stronger, we have to go by the sources that we find. And DNA confirmations are similar, or likewise, right? They confirm what you've already proven genealogically, but if there are other facts that come along that's, you know, new evidence, then you reevaluate what that is. So we don't need any more G2G posts about this until we find more evidence to change the argument. So yeah.
And because of his relationship with Sally,
yes,
I'm 9 degrees of separation.
So is he your closest then?
Yes, he's my closest.
You know who my closest president is?
Who's that?
Barack Obama.
All right.
He's my 4th cousin.
No way.
No way.
That is so cool.
We share like a great grandfather.
That's
the Welburns. Yep.
That is very
Appalachia, baby.
Appalachia. Fantastic. Okay. Sean Duke Aston, Samwise Gamgee. Great actor. He was actually the keynote speaker at Roots Tech a few years ago.
Yes, he was.
And he's great. He's a great guy, like very down to earth. I was quite impressed by his little speech. I actually snuck away from the WikiTree booth to listen to him. He was the son of Patty Duke, and was adopted by her actor husband. But growing up, apparently, so the DNA connection is that growing up, his mother told him that his biological father was Desi Arnaz, but which is interesting. So that would make Lucy his stepmother. I love Lucy, but no. Turns out DNA said that no, it's not Desi Arnaz. It was Michael Tell. So she told a lie. Michael. There we go. Next, we have Jimmy Buffett, who just passed away a couple years ago, 1st September 2023, at the age of 76, living in Margaritaville. And we definitely
away again in Margaritaville.
And I love that. If there's a heaven for me, I'm sure it has a beach attached. And we profiled Jimmy before. Lived in Key West and all that sort of stuff. Died on the 1st of September. And his DNA connection is that through DNA, he discovered that Jimmy Buffett, was not actually related to Warren Buffett. So I guess he wasn't heir to any of those millions or whatever. And then we have Mikolash Copernicus, who was born in 1473 in Turin, Kujawsko, Pomorski, Polska, and died at the age of 70 in Frombork, Warmińsko, Mazurski, Polska, or Nicholas Copernicus. the famous Polish mathematician and astrophysicist, who changed the world by his theory that the Earth revolves around the sun and not everything in the heavens revolving around the Earth.
I keep saying that everything still revolves around me.
We like to think that too, but anyways, so yeah, that wasn't he didn't have huge fans in the Catholic Church at the time. Surprise, surprise. But anyways, he and his colleague Johannes Kepler, brought this theory, which of course now is the basis of astronomy and so many other sciences. And interesting, they actually have a feast day in the Episcopal Church calendar, the 23rd of May. They celebrate. His last name, Copernicus, actually comes from the village that he lived in, Copernic or Copernig or Copernic or Copernicni.
It's easy for you to say.
Well, it's not so easy, but I'm faking it. And then anyways, great profile, great scientist, so thumbs up there. But I won't go through all the details. The DNA connection is that they have found his remains, and they've done testing, and they've identified the mitochondrial DNA group. They say they've done Y DNA testing, but it doesn't say what Y DNA group he belongs to. I don't know.
A lot of the ancient samples that we do get when we are doing archaeological digs and stuff, the tissue deteriorates so much that sometimes mitochondrial DNA is the only thing that can survive long enough that we can test it. So a lot of ancient samples have mitochondrial DNA tests done, which is the one like Beethoven.
Right.
We had mitochondrial for him. So sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yes, because that one the mitochondrial does survive longer. Like, does it survive like to the Ice Age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's wild when you think about that. That's possible.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that FTDNA has been doing with WikiTree is they use WikiTree for their ancient connection. When you see the trail in that thing that would never load for us, when you finally see that trail and it goes back to an ancient sample, WikiTree is where they send you to see the profile for that ancient sample.
Awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's not live yet, but I've been working with Joran Rumfeld on that for a while.
Very cool. Henry Louis Gates Jr., who many of you will know from his TV show,
Finding Your Roots.
Finding Your Roots. Yep. I was going to say, what ancestor am I, or who am I, or
he is the most personable person I've ever met.
Yeah, he's great.
Seems to be, yeah.
And
he saw me standing somewhere at Roots Tech in a WikiTree shirt and made a beeline for me.
No way.
No way.
Wow.
Oh, that's great. He's obviously a living person, and so it's a pretty private profile. Doesn't have a biography or whatever. But anyways, his claim to fame, not only his show, of course, which is amazing, but he is the first African American to do a full genome test. So explain what that means, Megs.
A whole genome is where they test all of your DNA. We only test a small part of DNA for genealogical purposes, but a whole genome test tests everything out. So it's a huge test with a whole different set of information. So if you wanted to upload a whole genome test to FTDNA, you could, or you could try and upload it to Ancestry, but you couldn't because you'd have to get some sort of conversion tool to be able to get the information that we just use for DNA, for genealogy.
Next, we have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And seems to me, I think we've profiled him before as well. I think let's see, maybe when we talked about Hawaii, I'm not sure. but anyways, a famous actor, of course, known as The Rock, and done other stuff. His and again, he has a short little profile here on WikiTree, but he has one. And his DNA claim to fame is that thanks to DNA, he's discovered he has a bunch of half siblings that he didn't know about before. Now, the details aren't listed here. If we went to his Wikipedia article, we could probably find more about that, or maybe some entertainment rags would give us some details about that. But that's an interesting thing, because that's
I
something
don't think they cite their sources in those, Greg.
What's that?
I said I don't think they cite their sources in.
You don't think they cite their sources? No.
And where is that? What? I heard my name.
No. But it's interesting, yeah, because of course, when I found my biological family, I have a full brother and sister and a half sister, and then just recently, just a couple of years ago, I got a phone call from my half sister because she found a half sister on the other side of the family. So,
Wow.
Wow.
so now when we have our Canada, we have a Canada get together with all my siblings, and I mean all my siblings, the ones I grew up with and my biological ones. That also includes the half sister of my half sister. So it's now part of this extended sibling family that we have. So maybe Dwayne will do the same thing and have a huge sibling get together. Who knows? Then we have Sitting Bull. And I'm not even sure how I would pronounce his name. Tatakanya Hyotoka Take Lakota.
Sounded good.
Yeah, I don't know. I meant to look up the pronunciation guide, and I didn't get around to doing that before the show began. So I apologize for not pronouncing that properly. But known as Sitting Bull, and we've talked about him as well. I think most of these people we have mentioned a few times before. So his profile about his history and his children, his wives and children is quite extensive there. But of course, his DNA connection, the connection to the theme this week is that they have done some testing and actually proven or identified a living great-grandson of his, which is very cool. And they used a technique. They were able to isolate DNA from fragments from the hair. So I wasn't sure that was legit, or that science.
That is very legit. That
Yeah.
is very legit.
Yeah.
They can get DNA if somebody touched something.
Mhm.
They can get DNA from the oils that your fingerprint residue leaves.
That's
Wow.
not just CSI magic from TV.
No, that's real.
Hmm.
If that's real, they can do that.
Wow. So does that mean if you've got the hairbrush with great granddad's
Yes.
fibers, we can now send that in for testing in places?
You could send that in, but I think the company that was doing a lot of that touch DNA kind of stuff has gone out of business.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's too bad.
By the book, I've forgotten what the name of the company
Something like
was.
that, yeah. Hmm. But the science is there and can be done. So I would imagine that if you know.
Yeah,
Some-
and hair has been something that we've tested for a long time, and you
hair.
always needed a follicle, like a
Right.
living follicle connected to it, but
Mhm.
you don't need that anymore. You can just have the hair.
Oh.
The hair itself. That's very cool. Prince Philip, who just passed away. Well, it says 2021. Seems more recent than that, but
Doesn't it?
It does, but I guess it's
doesn't
been.
it? I
Wow.
think it's been 4 years, 4.5 years.
Mhm.
Wow. I thought it was. Anyways, passed away at the age of 99, grand old age, and his profile. This is a lovely profile. Goes through, his life and details and whatnot. The DNA connection, and is it here on the profile? I don't know if it's here on the profile. I don't see it. But his DNA was tested, and it was used to. It was used in the investigation about Tsar Nicholas in Russia. And Megs, do you want to elaborate about that a bit more?
Well, a lot of the royal family have ties back to the German family, and so Queen Victoria, like they're all related to each other. If you look at the pictures,
There's the Romanovs right there. Yeah.
yeah, you can see them. They're all related, and they're also related to my dad.
Oh, so Mags, you're a royal Romanov.
I'm not a royal Romanov. I'm just me, a little Canadian American.
There we go. Yeah, so it was through his mitochondrial DNA connection, right? That they were related.
Yes, yes.
Because there is Queen Victoria right there, his great-great-grandmother.
Yeah. And she was Elizabeth's great-great-grandmother.
Right. Yes, that's right, because they were cousins of.
Yes.
Uh-huh. But then, yeah, you can see, so there's Romanovs. There were Romanovs there as well. So, very cool. Now, this next one, Connor Miles John O'Brien. This profile. So Connor just passed away in 2023. So born on 17th of July, 1943 in Surrey, England. Passed away the 3rd of June, 2023 at the age of 79 in Thomond House, Dromoland, County Clare, Ireland. And this profile, look at who the profile manager is. Our own Patty Waldron.
Oh, Patty.
Patty!
And Patty's worked on this one and the next profile extensively. So thank you, Patty, for your great work here. I hope I'm not losing my voice as I try to.
Can I give you some coffee here?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm almost. Oh, look, my TARDIS is empty. My TARDIS. How's that possible? Oh, there's one drag left.
One drag, Greg.
One drag drink. But Connor Miles John O'Brien was the 18th Baron Inchiquin, and he was known as the O'Brien. So in Ireland, like when you're the chief of the clan, you become the whatever the name is. So he was the O'Brien. Like there would be, I guess, does that make Patty the Waldron?
Yes, for sure.
Let's say we'll call Patty the Waldron. He's not here to contradict us, so there we go.
I have to say, I was in Ireland with Patty, and I was doing some research. I went to a university, I went to a museum, and everyone knew Patty.
Oh,
Like this whole famous. He's a notable himself.
Patty is notable. Yes.
Yes.
We love Patty. So Connor was born in England in 1943, son of Fionn O'Brien. Anyways, his ancestral home was in County Clare, Dromoland. That's where the O'Brien homestead was, and he set up the O'Brien Clan Foundation, which he remained the chairman of until the time of his death, just recently. It's interesting here. He added to this, at the age of 59, he admitted he went completely off the rails and took up motor racing. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to take up motor racing at any age, let alone 59. I'm certainly not thinking of it at 61 here now. No. His enlightened and supportive early participation in the new science of genetic genealogy was greatly appreciated by the millions who have followed his example. And he died at his home, close to Drummonland Castle. So in the research notes, Patty added that DNA Week features an Ireland challenge led by Rich Devlin to connect the big Y line from Sir Connor Miles John O'Brien through his 28th times great-grandfather, Brian Boru, from where the O'Brien comes from Brian Boru, back to the 50 times great-grandfather back in the year 95 to 155. That's some serious pedigree right there. So they're working on. So Patty sent me a note to mention that he had worked on these two profiles, and he knew Connor personally, which
of course he did.
Of course he did. I mean, everyone. Maybe it would be better
Everyone.
to say that Connor.
It's like
Patty.
when you remember the TV show Cheers.
Yes,
When
that's right.
Norm would walk in, it's like Patty. Whenever Patty walks in anywhere in Ireland, Patty.
Everybody knows his name.
That's
It's a good
right.
analogy.
That's right. And he's got a little comment here. So one of the things that he pointed out is that he makes good use of comments on WikiTree. And so I thought I'd just point out that fact that this is a feature that's available on every profile. If you're reading a profile and maybe you see something that you think is askew or there's a fact, but maybe you don't feel like you're not the profile manager and you're not sure if it's something that you can change or that you have the right to change, but you want to draw attention to it, then you can just hit the profile button or the comment button underneath, post new comment, and just make that comment, blah, 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 and then post that. And then the profile manager will automatically get notified of that. I'm going to cancel that because that's a useless comment there. The profile manager will automatically get an email saying that comment was added, plus anyone else who has this profile on their watch list. And anyone who views it in the future will also be able to see this. So he made a comment about the fact that there were two profiles that were probably the same person, and he even sent an email clarifying why that was and stuff. So that's one use of comments. The other thing he wanted to point out was that because of all this work, this DNA work, there is if you go to the DNA page for this profile, you will see, first off, there's all these tabs across the top, and you'll see the list, of course, of the Y chromosome DNA, the mitochondrial, all those sorts of things. If you go under DNA tests, then you'll see the tests that were connected because, as the profile said, he had done a bunch of he promoted genetic genealogy and had done testing himself, and his tests are connected on WikiTree. And so there's some details of it, and you can actually go to under each of these tests, there's a link for test details. And if you click on this link, it opens up this page, which gives you a list of all the DNA test results of people on this list, people who are connected or who, because of their Y-DNA connection to Connor and his male ancestors. And Patty was able to add a comment on the side. See, this comment was added by Patty that gives the details from the Family Tree DNA Discover page about these. And do you want to explain what those are right there, Max?
Yeah, well, it's what your cursor is on right now is the ancestral path of the SNPs. That's the mutations that go from whoever down to this gentleman. So you can start with the FGC 13418. That's his SNP. Some people call that a terminal SNP, but it's not terminal because in future generations that's going to change. Yeah. So, but you can follow the mutations back in time. Say, I don't know when his mutation happened, but I would say it was fairly recently. And then you can follow them back. There's time frames that are also associated with that. And here's something else that's coming down the pike. When we have a SNP listed for DNA testers for mitochondrial or Y-DNA, we'll have those haplogroups listed. That haplogroup listing will take you to the ancestral path over at FTDNA. That's coming. That is the tech team. The tech team has it.
Excellent. That's very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. So very cool. More cool stuff to do. Thank you, Patty, for pointing that out. Okay. Patrick Sarsfield, another Irishman. Sixth cousin. Wow. 14th cousin here. Through our French great. Many greats. He very, very famous Irish patriot and military hero, prominent Jacobite military leader. And if you don't remember, if you're not sure what Jacobite means, those were the followers of King James II. So he was a descendant of Mary, Queen of Scots, briefly King of England and Scotland, and then of course was deposed, and he had people who wanted to keep him on the throne, and those were the Jacobites, but they were defeated, and so but he was Patrick Sarsfield, Irish patriot, who fought for him, and then he fled with a bunch of the Jacobites away from the UK and Ireland to the mainland, and so he fought for the French Royal Army. Unfortunately, died of injuries after a battle there in 1693 in the city of Huy, which is in present-day Belgium, near Liège. Anyways, he was a very famous Irishman and Irish hero. And in fact, let's see, there was someone had a saying there that between hardly a more popular figure in all of Irish history than Patrick Sarsfield. Now I feel bad. I hadn't heard of Patrick Sarsfield until I read the profile this week. But had you heard of him before, Megs?
No, and he's my cousin. I need to go and meet him.
Yeah.
Where's his sarcophagus? It's in
well, that's the thing.
It's in Liège.
We're trying to find. They're trying to find his DNA, his burial place in Belgium, so that he can be repatriated in Ireland.
To Ireland, yeah.
DNA connection. They're part of the Homecoming Project, trying to locate and repatriate his remains through an archaeological dig, which is underway right now. So that's the DNA connection. They're using DNA to identify these bodies and hoping to find the one that matches him and stuff. But apparently,
I'm available for testing if you need me.
Excellent. St. Patrick, this Patrick Sarsfield, and then another one, Pedrick Pierce, the three most famous Patricks of all time, apparently.
Patrick.
My middle name is Patrick. Gregory Patrick Clark.
So you're the fourth most famous.
Well, I don't know about that. Anyways, great work on this page as well, Patty. Thank you for doing that. Patty, also Patty. Another Patrick. Joseph.
That's famous.
Yeah, maybe
Patty may be higher than you, though.
The most famous Patrick now is Patty Waldron, of course. Joseph Smith, founder of the Mormonism and the Latter-day Saints movements, and the DNA connection here, and we talked about him. You can read all about his profile. Is of course that DNA is being used to prove or disprove direct descendants of his, and that's it in a nutshell. And the last,
and there's lots of descendants.
There would be, but he had a few wives. So there's lots of potential descendants there. And then the last profile of the week, Richard III, or King Richard of England. Of course, the profile goes through all of his history, his military, his royal history and whatnot. And the DNA connection is that, and it's right down here, they've discovered his remains, and his identity was confirmed by DNA analysis. Mitochondrial testing has shown here, and then you can see the tests and the details. Y-DNA testing with one of his
first cousin.
A first cousin?
Richard. They tested a Canadian.
Oh, okay. So do you know more? You want to give more details about this? Because it looks like they've discovered that there was perhaps an NPE. There's something happened with John of Gaunt.
Yeah, his father is most probably not his father. So technically, he would be a bastard king, and not of the bloodline. So the Plantagenet bloodline is set upon an NPE.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I recently watched a documentary about this. And
Mhm.
yeah, so you can follow all the details. I just shared the link
Mm.
if you want to watch that.
Uh,
It's really interesting. I don't know if the source is how serious it is, but
Yes,
it's
it is.
really
They
interesting.
have done DNA. They've confirmed that it's him, and they used a
Yeah.
guy in Canada, and there was also a cousin in England that they used to confirm him. But I could have done it because I am indeed his first cousin. So
Wow.
Hmm.
Thanks.
there you go.
Very cool.
Wow.
Very cool.
Next time you guys see me, you need to bow.
Curtsy and bow. Got it.
That's
Oh,
great.
very cool. Well,
18 times removed, first cousin.
that's right. First
Well,
cousin,
just a detail.
just a detail.
Just a detail.
Okay, so I made it in time to get to the Secret Santa elves meeting, so I could just bow out whenever I need to.
Oh,
Vicky, maybe we let Vicky go next, so she can.
maybe, yeah. Well, I'll be really quick, because we don't have a profile makeover to show this week. I'm waiting for Irene Samek to finish her makeover. But I just have to comment, of course, and mention our member of the week, Eric Stamper. So congrats, Eric. He couldn't be with us because he has some holidays activity. And well, Eric is a WikiTreeer from 2021, and he's most active in the Appalachia, Biscuit, Nordic, and 7076 projects. Well, he lived most of his youth in Pennsylvania, and now he lives in Maryland, where he owns an online business. And since we're short of time, I will tell you mostly the things I envy from Eric. Well, Eric has a great story about how he got interested in genealogy, so you can all envy Eric. And maybe if you're young enough to have your relatives, your ancestors, you can follow his example. Well, he was his paternal grandparents have Appalachian roots, and they owned a giant scrapbook. And listen to this, filled with family photos and memorabilia. It contained photos dating back to his third great grandparents, had copies of all deeds, canceled checks, newspaper clippings, military documents, report cards, graduation announcements, and so much more. Are you feeling the envy?
I have got the envy.
Every item had a special story to tell, and over the years I learned about many of those stories, he says. And when he was in his late teens, he asked his grandparents to recall their family tree, and he created a hand-drawn family tree. He still has it, and with additional notes about what he asked to his grandparents. So if you still have them, be sure to do this. Well, I will show you because I really need to know how Eric did this. This is his profile, and I saw this that I'm also I want to have this
Oh,
this table about his
Oh, that's neat.
ancestry. It's so cool, and I just want to copy it. So I'll ask him for the code.
For sure.
I mean, we all can do tables, but it's done.
But this is a table with graphics. That's a sort of
and
next
looks great.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks so neat.
Look at the
I've never
do the
seen
HTML. Look at the wiki markup.
yeah.
But I can't because I can't edit the profile.
Oh, because it's private. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes, it's private, so I'll ask for the HTML.
Yeah, maybe you can share with us once you.
Yeah, yes, and I'll share it with you guys.
Yeah.
That's great. I want to have that on my profile. So
that looks like a cool app to make.
Oh, who could do that? Maybe after
No.
the speech.
Someone else, maybe like the photo line. I'm thinking the photo lines app does something sort of similar, but it's a lot more basic because it's just a straight line. It just
Yes.
grabs information from the profiles of your ancestors. So the same concept could be used to assemble this, just format it slightly differently. So someone could take my
Yes.
photo lines app and adapt it to do something like this.
Yes. Well, you see, this he put the count, count of grandparents. You see, in this line, third great grandparents, 8 were born in North Carolina. So also you'll have to distinguish between states or countries, because here we have Ireland and Finland and Quebec. So yeah,
So
it's not that simple.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, how we take great care when we put a location to make sure that we're using the right title of the location for the event, and same for flags. And it doesn't look like it looks like a flag. I mean, maybe the flags all are the same for
Right.
Yeah, but sometimes they change.
Right, exactly.
Like
so
Germany.
Simplicity's sake, he's got a standard, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks great. Yeah, I would totally put this on my profile. That's great. So Eric, you're famous now. Now we all envy you. So congrats again for being member of the week, and thanks for all that you do for our tree. And that's it. We now have to hear about the question of the week.
Yes, and I think what maybe would be best would be to do celebrating the December ancestors and the photos next week. Yeah, Vicky, did you have one more segment as well?
No, never mind.
You'll push it.
I don't have a profile makeover to show, so okay, let's leave it like that.
All right, let me share my screen and share screen.
Oh yeah, Amanda gave a good idea. A how-to free space page when we have the code. Yes. Totally.
Oh yeah, because that might need some step-by-step instructions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm everybody wish me luck that I make it through this segment without going into a coughing fit.
Okay.
I
no.
So, but I made it through an hour-long concert performing last night without coughing. So that was
wow.
I was like, because Greg, you would understand. There are certain moments in the music where if you cough, it's okay. But I'm like, no, not in this super delicate one. No.
And playing a flute, you cannot afford to cough. Like playing the piano,
you could inhale parts of the flute.
Yeah, but flute, you need all the breath.
Yeah, I had to like discipline myself to not take my normal size breaths because that could get me into trouble. So short freezes last night.
Wow.
Anyway, so our question of the week goes along with the DNA week theme. What discovery did you make using DNA? And there were, I think, if I refresh this, there are 83 answers. And we're going to take a look at 5 of those. And one of them happens to be the very first one from Kristen Robinson. And this research story was very inspiring. She was trying to get more information on one of her second great grandmothers, who actually died at the age of 22. So she says at some point later in the story that she had 2 sons, moved around constantly, dies young and almost unknown, and disappears into the mists of time. And I think that could describe a lot of our ancestors, that they just, they're very hard to track down. So thank goodness for DNA. So she was she married an English immigrant, no marriage record. There were 2 sons, one of whom she mentions later did die young. She's found in the 1870 census for Austin, Cass County, Missouri. But she notes that Kristen's great-grandfather, Benjamin, was born in Olathe, Kansas, 50 miles from their home in Missouri, which seems incongruous. There was never any clues that they lived in Kansas. She searched through every census record in 1860 for Susan in Illinois, and there were more than 50 of the right age. How would you find the right one? So she tested her father and started getting matches that all clustered on descendants of a man named Felix Thornton and his wife, Mary Holly. And it turns out that she worked her way through the 10 children of Felix and Mary, settled on one, and then went down to the next generation and discovered that John Edwards, who was in the next generation, had 2 wives and children through each wife. And then, let's see, I'm trying to condense this story for you. Yes, okay. He found John Edward Thornton and second wife Mary living in Olathe, Kansas in 1870. So that was the clincher, because as she notes, of course, Susan would have gone home to her parents to have her first child. Her immigrant British family was alone in the United States. And so then she proceeded to, so nice sleuthing there, Kristen. I love when you can make that kind of dot connection. And then she was wondering, was Mary Bates her mother or first wife Susan Skiles? So she then zeroed in on that and was able to define which wife she was the daughter of. So wow, that was a very inspiring story. Then on page 2 we have Dave. I'm going to do a Control F. Foster. Okay. David Foster. So let's see. This was a story of someone who changed their name, and I thought it was an interesting reason for changing the name. He said my great grandmother's father was Robert Brown, and they married during the Civil War in Missouri. And he spent years looking at DNA matches with Browns, and there were a few possibilities. Nothing seemed to make sense. Then he started looking at my close matches and building their trees back. And one of the groups that he fastened onto were Shorts, Fries, and Tracy's. It was clear I was related, but how? The next piece I came across was a Civil War pension for Nelson W. Short that stated he used the alias Robert D. Brown during the Civil War. Yes, this was the key that put it all together. Nelson Short had taken on the alias at the beginning of the war and used it until the early 1870s, then returning to Nelson Short when he moved to Nebraska. I'm not sure of the reason for the alias, but speculate that it was because he left Ohio to operate covertly to support the federal cause in Missouri. And I read this a couple of times. The way I'm reading is it sounds like he had a wife back in Ohio, this Maria Gray, and then he had a second wife in Missouri. And so there might have been, I'm not sure how the timeline works out there. But the second wife in Missouri was Polly Emmeline English, and they had 2 children. And it's speculated that by February 1864, there was no longer need to be covert, and he served the remainder of the war in uniform. After the war, he remained in the U.S. Engineers, and then in 1870, he's still in St. Louis, and he's living with Maria Nancy, his first wife from Ohio, and their second child, Clarence, who has the last name of Brown. So it seems like he's switching between Brown and Short back and forth. during this period. And then in 1880, they're living in Nebraska with the name Short. Clarence was born in Missouri in 1869. His middle name is Brown. And then the second wife was living with her parents in 1870 without husband and died in 1874. So without DNA, the above connection would have been impossible. This was not something that was passed through family history. So that's sort of fascinating.
Wow.
I connect everybody, and I grew up with a family from Nebraska that were the Short family.
Really?
I did. That as soon as he said Short Nebraska, I went ding ding ding.
Wow.
I wonder, because at that time Nebraska was not that densely
It was
populated.
one of my closest friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's see. Then we have William Shank. There he is. Okay. Am I on William? Yes. Willard. I'm sorry, Willard Shank. Willard got tested at 23andMe in 2017 on a lark. I was just curious to see if I have any Asian markers, courtesy of my maternal grandparents. They were Hungarian, and as we know, the great Khan brought his army all the way to Hungary in 1241. So I wondered. When he got his match list, there was a name right at the top that he didn't recognize. A woman, a first cousin, it said. Her name was June. She was living in Alberta, which was where his mother was born and raised. They made contact, and I asked in a polite way, "Who are you?" And then they started to put all the pieces together. So Willard's mother was born in 1931 in Calgary, married in 1950, moved to Ontario shortly thereafter, and in 1858, Mother began to explain to me that she and a twin brother had been put out for adoption soon after they were born because their parents could not afford to raise them. Then they
1958.
Right. Willard was born in 1951. Oh, did I say 1858? I'm sorry. Yes, 1958.
No time travel.
When he was about 7, that's what he was told. Then they changed their minds. They were able to retrieve the boy, but Mother had been adopted. Years later, I was to learn that it didn't happen exactly like that. So what happened is that when his mother's birth parents came to Canada circa 1930, they left 2 sons behind in Hungary with relatives. So those would have been his uncles, his mother's brothers. One of the boys died in childhood, but the other grew up, started a family, and then came to Canada after the Hungarian uprising in 1956. The relatives in Hungary knew about Mother, but never had been told she had been adopted out. So when Mother's older brother arrived in Alberta with his family, he began to ask about her. So his mother went to Alberta in 1959. It was a big family reunion. Years later, I learned some of the rest of the story. When my mother and her twin brother were born, their mother's husband knew they were not his, and he wanted to leave them in the hospital. But a compromise was reached. Keep the boy, lose the girl. My grandmother's affair that produced my mother and her brother was one of those family secrets known by some but not shared with others. So sum it up, my mystery cousin June and I shared a biological grandfather but different grandmothers. 2 recommendations that Willard has: be careful what you wish for, and it's all good.
It's all good.
Wow. I mean, that story.
Yeah.
Keep the boy, lose the girl. Oh,
Wow.
Oh thank you, Willard. And then finally, on page 3, Connie Volkman. She wrote that before her husband died, she asked him to get a DNA test, and his mother was adopted, and the family could find no answers about her biological family. So They started finding answers about how 5 children were removed from their parents and sent to the state by court orders. The local newspaper told of children with no shoes and clothes so dirty and worn they were just rags. Dick's mother was a year old and was sent to the children's home in Topeka, Kansas. When she was 3 years old, she was given to a well-known Kansas couple in their 50s. There were no adoption papers, as the couple said they never got around to adopting this child. The real reason is more likely that they didn't want her biological parents to know where she was living, as we later found all but one of her siblings living in the same county. This couple was very determined, as even the U.S. Census records also recorded that this child was born in Canada to the couple's sister. So they made great efforts to obscure her origins. Dick's mother was a very lucky little girl, as her adoptive parents showered her with love until they passed away. However, they protected her so much that when her older siblings came looking for her where she was and as an adult, she refused to acknowledge them because of all the stories her parents told her. Unfortunately, she died before DNA, and our research could not be acknowledged. But then her son was Connie's husband, so because of his test, they were able to prove them. So that I've never. I mean, it makes total sense to me that why they would obscure her origins, but what a story.
Yeah.
And then finally, let's see. I'm looking for Carol Poole. There it is. Yes. Yes, you could say that discoveries have been made using DNA results. At 74, I have found out that my 76-year-old sister is actually my half-sister.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a long time to go.
Yeah.
We've discovered that her father was actually our Uncle Lou, who was very close to our parents during the post-World War II period and until his death in 1968. So Carol's father came back from the war, World War II, and he had severe PTSD. He was at the liberation of the death camp Dachau and was forever scarred by it. As time passed, her father started treating his PTSD with alcohol. My parents separated for approximately 2 years because of his drinking. And eventually, her mother gave her father an ultimatum. If he didn't stop drinking, she would seek a divorce. He started going to AA and remained sober for the rest of his life. It was after my father stopped drinking that my mother discovered she was pregnant with my sister. In 1949, my mother gave birth to my sister, who was considered slightly premature. During those post-war years, my father and mother had developed a deep friendship with the accountant at my father's place of work. My dad was a foreman at a lumber mill, and where his father was the co-owner, and Lou Hart was the accountant. My mother always, yes, Uncle Lou. My mother always said that Uncle Lou had helped her with our father during those difficult times. Lou was a bachelor, and he would be with my dad when he was out drinking, making sure he didn't get into too much trouble. As we children grew up, we suspected that Lou was secretly in love with our mother, but that he cared about our dad too. They were a close threesome during those years and long after. Uncle Lou was part of our family as we were growing up. He was the family photographer. My oldest sister often remembered that she had wanted to grow up and marry Uncle Lou. He was there for holidays and birthdays, as a true biological uncle would have been. Recently, my sister has discovered many relatives in her DNA matches with a Hart as a surname. I believe she was actually relieved and pleased to have Lou as her biological father. He had been so close to us for all the rest of his life, and we all loved him. And this is what made me go, oh. I think I love Uncle Lou too, Carol.
Oh,
Hey, Pip.
it has a happy ending.
It does.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to say, I have an Uncle Lou story in my family too. I'll be really quick. It turns out that my grandmother, Martha, her mother confessed to her when she died that she wasn't her mother. This was Florentina, okay? Florentina was Martha's mother.
Yeah.
But she said, I'm not your mother. Your mother died when she gave birth to you. But when I knew about that, I said, but that's not possible, because through DNA, I confirmed that my father has DNA from Florentina's family. Well, it turns out that my grandmother was the daughter of one of Florentina's sisters. And I don't know if Florentina knew that one of her sisters was actually the mother of her child. Maybe she preferred to hide that story and say that her mother had died. But well, Florentina died, and who I think is the real mother, 60% of chance she was the real mother, lived very close to my grandmother, and they shared a lot of time together. So I don't know if maybe my grandmother knew that she was her mother. I don't know that part of the story, but that's my own telenovela.
Does she know who the father was? Who her father was?
Oh, yes, it was the father, the husband, Florentina's husband. So maybe he had cheated with one of her sisters. Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me, you guys. Thank
you're
you,
welcome.
Denise, for getting me here. Appreciate it.
Oh, we
Love
love
having
having
you.
you.
We
Yeah.
love having you, Mags. That was great. So coming up,
Anytime.
we have to make a quick exit. But yeah, coming
Yes.
up next week, we have question of the week. Radecki is the one name studies. Dorking Surrey in the UK is one place study. The Bahamas project will be featured on Thursday. Hollywood,
That's
Ed Asner.
Peter Roberts.
Yeah, that's Peter Roberts. Yes. Ed Asner is going to be featured on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Friday. And we will be back next Saturday for our final Saturday roundup of 2025. But in 18 minutes, all of the Secret Santa challenge for 2025 will officially begin. And we're starting off with a Zoom meeting with all elves. I sent each of you elves who officially signed up using the Google form properly last night. So check your email, check your spam folders and your trashes and whatnot for an email from me with the link to the meeting in 18 minutes, now 17 minutes from now. And if you didn't sign up properly, in my G2G post, I believe the Zoom link is there as well. Join us and we'll make sure that you're signed up properly. And we'll give you more details about that coming up next week. But thank you all. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you again. Bye.
Merry hoo-ha!
Bye, Mike.